Hi guys, Sammy Moniz here. We're gonna be cooking banana upside down cake today using XTEND's new protein, and this is the salted caramel flavor. The cool thing about this protein is it also has BCAAs in the protein powder. So we're gonna be cooking with that today. Everyone, I'm sure, has experienced overripe bananas sitting on their countertops. Instead of just a plain old banana bread, we're gonna make a banana upside down cake. All right, so for this recipe, we're gonna be using a cast iron skillet and we're gonna be baking it in the oven. We've got the oven preset to 350, so it's nice and hot. We've got a handful of very ripe bananas, 2 different sugars here, white sugar and brown sugar, our all-purpose flour, our XTEND protein, buttermilk, baking powder, vanilla, butter, eggs, a whole bunch of stuff that's gonna make a really yummy treat. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna melt our butter and get it laid down into the cast iron skillet, and then we're gonna use our brown sugar to coat the bottom. So this recipe came to be because it's very often that you've got overripe bananas sitting on your countertop, and most traditionally, you go and you make a banana bread. Not that a banana bread is not a favorite around here, but it's always nice to switch things up and try new and exciting things. Not only for those eating, but for myself cooking. It's always exciting to try something that I've never done before. Okay, so we've got the brown sugar and the butter in the bottom of the pan. It's gonna create this nice and gooey, yummy bottom layer. And then we're gonna cut up our bananas and lay them out just as you would for the more traditional pineapple upside down cake. That's gonna be when we flip this over at the end, kind of the presentation. So I'm probably gonna do 3 to 4 bananas on the bottom, and then I'm gonna mush up, I think, my ripest 2 bananas to go into the batter. We're gonna cut them the long way down the middle, trying to keep it all together as best we can, like this. And then we're gonna lay that down into the pan. If you break a banana in the process, it's okay. You can kind of move things around, squish it back together. As long as it's covered in butter and sugar, it's not gonna matter what it looks like. Okay, so this is the design that I've made for the bottom of my pan. Depending on the size of your bananas, it could come out completely different. This is a very creative opportunity for you. Enjoy it. Okay, so now that we've got the base of our cake, this is going to be the top of the cake. We're now gonna create the batter that goes on top of this, and this is where the XTEND protein is gonna come into that. Okay, we're gonna take our ripest bananas and we're gonna mush these up. So I'm just using a fork here, and since they're nice and ripe, it won't take too much elbow grease to get them into a nice smooth consistency. It's okay if they're a little chunky. It's nothing better than biting into a nice big piece of banana inside your cake. All right, mushy bananas. So in this bowl, we've got our baking powder and our salt. We're gonna add our all-purpose flour and our XTEND protein. So every recipe is gonna differ. We're gonna do 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour and 1/4 of a cup of XTEND protein. With our dry ingredients, we're also gonna add 3/4 of a cup of sugar. We are all about balance in this house, so when we're having a treat, we're gonna have a treat. When we're trying to eat healthy, we'll eat healthy. We don't really do a little bit of both. So sugar is okay in moderation. It's if that's your thing. If not, then you can find another recipe that suits you a little bit better. All right, so we've got our dry ingredients here. We're gonna put together our wet ingredients, then we'll mix it all together, lay it into the cast iron, and put her in the oven to bake. All right, we've got 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk going into our wet ingredients. We've got an egg, a little bit of vanilla, and our mashed bananas. I'm just gonna use a fork to get these all mixed together. Okay, we're gonna take our dry ingredients, which is our flour, our whey protein, and our sugar, baking powder, and salt, all mixed up. And we're gonna add it to our wet ingredients. So I'm gonna mix this until just combined. It's gonna be very similar to a pancake batter, a heavy cake batter. All right, now that it is all nice and well and combined, we're gonna add this to the top of our cast iron, and then we're gonna put this in the oven. Gonna wanna make sure we smooth the batter over so it's covering all of the bananas and the brown sugar, butter. All right, now this is gonna bake in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes. We'll keep an eye on it. We're gonna set the timer. I'm a big fan of the timer on the oven. I don't like to bake without it. I'm not a big successful guest baker. So we're gonna set the timer for 30 minutes. We'll check it. If it needs a little bit more time, we'll add time then. All right, so we've checked our banana upside down cake. Originally we put it in the oven for 30 minutes, checked it again at the 30-minute mark and decided to add a little bit more time. Every oven is different, so just make sure you keep an eye on it towards the end.
Want me to flip it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes. Oh, it looks so yummy.
It's gooey.
Mm-hmm.
This is good.